The title of this one is simply this: Where are the women of virtue? Where are the women of virtue from the days of old who adorn themselves less in silver and in gold and less in flashy things or clothes that barely even cover anything, especially the secrets of Victoria that no one seems to be keeping anymore, I guess. So where are the women of virtue who value themselves by more than just the clothes they wear or the lack thereof? Where are the women that value themselves by more than just the cars that they drive, the shoes on their feet, or the number of purses in their closets? Where are the women that adorn themselves in modesty and in righteousness, walking before God and in all wholehearted godliness? Where are the women whose heart is so set after seeing God that they're not worried about the cost that must be paid in order for them to remain saved? Where are the women who don't feel the need to overpower you in conversation or in action or in deed? Nor the women that feel that they need to overpower you in the things that they do so and I can do it on my own. A lot of people seem to be caught up in the saying that says, I can do bad all by myself. But why would you want to do bad when God has sent you to be a help? Why would you want to do bad all by yourself when there is someone out there designed specifically to be your help? Where are the women of value? Where are the women of virtue whose wholehearted desire is this? To remain righteous before God, to remain standing on the standard that God has already set. Where are the women of virtue whose heart is now set on seeking and running after God, so that in their pursuit of God, the one that should be pursuing them will find them? Where are the women of virtue who will boldly proclaim the righteousness of God, be it to their man or any other? Where are the women of virtue who's not ashamed to stand up and say what is right, even if it means she has to lose favor in that sight of men? Where are the women of virtue whose heart is so set on seeing God that anything less than that doesn't even matter? Where are the women of virtue that has learned to keep Victoria's secret a secret, because not everybody needs to know your secrets? Let us put on some more clothes, dress modestly, and earnestly seek after the presence of God and work with what He's placed in our hands to do, so that in that God can bless us, and in that God can deliver us, and in that women can be seen as women instead of objects. Where are the women that refuse to be objectified and looked upon as pieces of meat because of the way they dress when they're in the streets, and not in the streets literally, as far as being mentally? Where are the women who will stand by a standard, refusing to let it down no matter who's on the other side of the camera right now? Where are the women who understand their value and their worth in the eyes of God, and they're not willing to settle for anything less in the eyes of another man? Where are the women that will hold to the standard of righteous living, to clean living, to hold out a sexuality that is not promiscuous? Where are the women that refuse to just sleep around town in order to get around, in order to climb up the ladder right now? Where are the women that will not let down the standard of God in their own lives or in their own heart to pursue after the things that won't even matter in the end? Where are the women that will remain pure until marriage, that will remain strong, that will remain standing on the standard of God? Where are the women whose heart is so hungry for God that they refuse to settle for anything less? Where are the women of virtue that are meant to stir and to raise and to guide the home? Where are the women that go hand in hand with the? Where are the women of virtue that go hand in hand with the men of valor of this generation that this whole nation seems to be hungry for? Where are the women that are meant to be the helpmeet to the man that has been called by God to lead his family? Where are the women that have been called by God, given His grace, and called to stand by His faithfulness and by His mercies and the tender grace by Christ Jesus? Where are the women of virtue whose heart is set on God? Notice that in almost every other line of this poem I said, where are the women of virtue who are willing to seek after God and to know His heart? Meaning simply this: to be a woman of virtue, just like to be a man of valor, you must understand this, that in anything that you pursue, God must be first, second, and third, and then your family, and then your friends, and then relationships. Understand that if we are not seeking God first, anything that we attempt to do is of ourselves and it does not bring Him glory. So when in our pursuit of God first, we allow the doors to be open and the windows of heaven to open up, so that the blessings of God might be poured out upon us. So the question is, again I ask, Where are the women of virtue, the women of God that will stand by the standard of God, that will seek Him first with all of their heart and allow Him to walk in them in righteousness? Where are the women that will faithfully wait on God to bring to them that husband that they need so that they can be the woman of virtue to help build, to help stir, and to help maintain the home? Where are the women that God have called to be helpmeets? Where are the women that God has called to help stir and to raise the home? Because in doing so, they stir and raise the next generation that will lead this nation. So where are the women of virtue? Where are the women of virtue? Where are the women whose heart is so set on seeing God that nothing else even matters? Where are the women whose heart is set on God and nothing else matters, that they will lead this nation through prayer wars and through faithfulness, through spiritual warfare and gratefulness? Where are the women that will lead this generation to a greater level of faithfulness? Where are the women that will stand by the standard of God and will refuse to let it down, and will stand and never be bound again? Where are the women who will help pray and break chains, that will help pray and destroy yoke, that will help pray and set the captive free? Where are the women prayer warriors like grandma in them? Where are the women prayer warriors that help break shackles like grandma in them? Where are the women who help break chains like grandma in them? Where are the women who will break the generational curses that will try to hold captive this generation of young people? Where are the women of virtue that can help steer a nation and a generation? Where are the women of virtue that are made to be the helpmeet to the men of God in this nation? Where are the women of virtue that can help change the course of this nation in our generation? Where are the women of virtue?